Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I am your host, Randi-lee. On today's episode, I am going to be talking to Karina Kantas. Welcome, Karina. Excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Randy.
So tell us a little bit about who you are.
Who am I? I'm many people. I wear many hats. Let's start with, I am a podcaster, a booktuber, a YouTuber. I'm a host of the radio show Artists on the Artists First Radio Network Author Assist radio show. I run Author Assist, which helps authors with their marketing and promotion. Everything from brainstorming an idea right through to having the final product in their hand and helping them to promote themselves and the book. I have about 30 different services that I do for authors, including one-on-one training, so they don't have to hire someone again and they can learn how to do it themselves. I am an author of 14 books. I've just released my new one this month. Some of my books have won awards. I'm also an award-winning filmmaker. My book trailers have won International Film Festival awards. I'm sure I forgot something.
Well, that's all like what you do, but like, who are you?
I'm from the UK, as you can tell from my accent. And I'm living in Greece, in Corfu. I've been out here.
So what time is it for you right now?
It's now 20 past 5.
Okay. I'm just 10:15 in the morning, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I'm in the island of Corfu. I came over here when I was a teenager, about 19, and met my husband in a cocktail bar.
Cool.
Yeah. My first time abroad, my first time flying. I took my sister on a holiday, and when he asked me, what do you want to drink, and I had to say it, didn't I? I said, I'll have an orgasm. And he turned around and he said, how many? And I went, multiple. And that was our chapter fly. And we were inseparable. We were inseparable for 2 weeks, that holiday. And I knew after the 2 weeks, I had found my soulmate.
Yeah, that is fantastic. See, that's who you are. You're the lady that orders multiple orgasms.
I have the other side of me. I'm really busy with my business. I have chronic insomnia, so I hardly ever sleep, so I'm always online working. This is my office, which is my bedroom, because I'm comfortable on the bed. I have serious illnesses that stop me from doing any full-time work, stop me from doing normal everyday housework, being a mother like you should with your children, play with them and go ice skating and horse riding and yeah, so that's the other side of Karina Kantas.
Okay.
Which isn't very cool.
Well, I mean, your whole life isn't going to be cool. There's going to be parts of it that suck, and those are the parts.
This sucks completely. It started nearly 15 years ago. I had type 1 diabetes, then I had a problem with the thyroid. And if anyone knows this little thyroid thing in your throat, it can affect every single part of the body. It has so many symptoms. Then with my diabetes, and then I got fibromyalgia, which it affects all the nerves and muscles in the body. You're in constant chronic pain, insomnia, memory problems, the list goes on. And every year something's been added onto my list. I've got problems with the nerves on my neck. I have disc problems on my back, so I can't, when I try and bend and sweep, my back's in agony. I can't stand for long periods. I walk with a walking stick, and that was like, I was using a walking stick 15 years ago. I was like, I'm 47. I admit that I'm 47 now, but I became ill and had to act like a 60-year-old woman when I was diagnosed. And so you accept it, you get on with things, you make the best of what you've got. I have an amazing family. I'm so lucky to have the family I have, who really, really helped me. And with my business, with my clients, doing my work, I just keep myself busy all the time. So I don't have to think about other things, you know?
That's
And I get
good.
up every morning, no matter how I'm feeling, I get up every morning, smile on my face, and get on with things.
That is good to hear, because it can be really easy to say, oh, I have all this stuff going on, so I'm just going to lay here and do nothing.
There are days where you've given everything you can, you know, you've got no strength left. They're called flare-up days, and that's when you are just crashing, and it does happen. You're in your bedroom and you sleep because you haven't slept for 74 hours, and then suddenly you conk out, you're like zombified. You sleep for maybe 4 or 5 hours straight, and that makes your body rested and you ready to start again and to not sleep again for another 74 hours. But after so many years, my body's used to it now, and it's like I said, I get on with things. People, not many people know me. The professional side, they don't know the other side of Karina, and then the ones that know the other side of Karina don't really know the professional side of me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you've got two very distinct parts of yourself.
Exactly.
So we're going to start with one of those parts. We're going to start with the part that sucks, because that is really what the show is about, unpacking the sucky part of life. So you told us a little bit about those chronic illnesses that you have, and now tell us a little bit about mental health that goes along with having some of that stuff.
Well, I've always suffered from depression anyway. Unfortunately, that is a curse for any artist. We suffer from depression because that's when the creativity comes out.
So
no
true.
matter who you talk to, no matter who you talk to, they will say the same thing. So I've had that anyway. And when I became diabetic, part of that symptom was again depression. So that put that on top.
Okay.
Fibromyalgia, one of the symptoms of fibromyalgia is depression. So I've got like 3 times as much of being depressed with all of these things, and the medication as well that I'm taking that's supposed to help. And I cry at every little thing. I don't know, it's something, some song, something someone says, some advert. My daughter's always got tissues with her because I could just break down anytime.
Well, that's
but I'm
good
really
then.
happy.
She's prepared.
Oh, she's amazing. She's like my little nurse. She knows all my medications, when I've got to take them because of having memory problems, not remembering to take them. She'd come in and she'd ask me, have you done your insulin? Have you done your medication? She's amazing. She's been my little nurse. She's been looking after me when at the age where she shouldn't be looking after her mum.
Yeah.
You know, she's missed out on so much because of my illness. But when it comes, depression is hard to cope with. I haven't got so low like I did before I got ill. I was seeing, before I had my first child and living in Greece, I was seeing a therapist because I was so depressed. I got to the lowest of the lowest and I knew I needed help.
Okay. So what did that feel like though? What does the lowest of the lowest mean to you?
It means that you just can't see a way out. You just feel like you're trapped. Your life is going nowhere. Even now I can look at it and say, what the hell was I thinking? You know, but at the time, that's all you think is, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. And nothing's working. I can't live like this. And that is the lowest of the low. That's when you need to speak to someone.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't speak to that someone.
Exactly. That is when I made the decision to go speak to somebody too, is that lowest of the low point where you went, uh-oh, if I don't go speak to somebody, something really bad is going to happen.
Yeah. There's just no way out. You just don't see a future for yourself. And then when you out of the depression and you're back to your bubbly self, and you look back and you think, why on earth did I feel like that? With everything I have around me, with everything that's going on, why was I ready to give it all up?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people have to remember, that when you get to the low stage and you think about giving up, don't, because the next step, you're going to come out of this black cloud. You will come out of this black cloud. And when you do, you're going to be asking yourself, why on earth did I feel like that? And it's not about your life and how you're living. It is a mental problem. It is to do with a mental deficiency, disease, whatever you want to call it. It is a physical mental problem that can be helped with pills, with therapy, with natural remedies, lots and lots of ways that you can help, especially with talking to a total stranger about anything that's upsetting you or whatever.
It's amazing how, I love how you say a total stranger. It's amazing how you can go to this total stranger, spill your guts, and feel better after. Because it's not, I mean, obviously you're not walking up to just a stranger on the street, but still, when you say it like that, oh yeah, because you go up to this stranger who you're trusting your entire life with and hoping that you're gonna come out the other end. Yeah.
And hoping that you, by talking about it, you first get closure.
Yes.
And by talking to a therapist who's supposed to be able to help you and know what to say, the right thing to say. If you go to a therapist and they're only in it for the money, or they've just opened their own little office because they've just passed their degree or whatever, you're likely not to get, unfortunately, the correct therapy that you should get.
Yeah.
And it will be, come back next week and let's do it again, and come back next week and let's do it again. And if you don't feel anything after the first session, then it's not going to work. The first session is where you talk and you cry and you get things out. And that is the start. And if you can't do that with that therapist, then you need to change and find someone else.
Yeah. Don't give up. Like, therapy is great. Don't give up. Don't think everybody's the exact same, because there are so many people in the world, so many types of personalities out there, that you're not going to connect with everyone. You're not going to be able to just walk in and always connect. So just because that therapist didn't work for you doesn't mean that they're not good at their job, but it also doesn't mean that some other therapist isn't going to be able to connect with you. So just try again.
You look for someone else, and when you've got that connection, because you can breathe, you leave that office breathing, feeling like that lump on that heaviness on your shoulder is starting to shift. One session is not enough. It never would be enough for anything, but that one session, you will know whether you're with the right therapist. You will know whether you want to carry on with that person. If you leave feeling that nothing has been sorted, everything's the same, like you say, you don't give up. You go and you contact someone else. By taking that step of wanting to talk to someone and get it out, you've done the first step of your treatment yourself.
Yes.
And that is an amazing thing to do when you're feeling like you're at the end and you can't go on. If you can do that first step and talk to someone, then you're on your way of getting out of that black cloud.
Yeah.
And when you get out that black cloud, you laugh. You laugh at yourself. Why did I ever have those feelings and those dark and nasty and evil thoughts in my head that I was going to do that and leave all of my family and leave my life?
Yeah.
Why did I feel so low when I've got nothing to feel low about?
Yeah. And that's such a good point, because so many people that aren't dealing with the actual depression, that just see your life, kind of minimize what you're feeling. They'll be like, I've heard people say, your life is good. What do you have to worry about? What do you have to be depressed about? Your life is so good. Like, look at all this. And
Bingo.
And it's not about what your life is
Life
like.
is about. No, it isn't. It's the
about
thoughts
that.
are in your head.
Exactly. It's about the negative talk. Sometimes it's a chemical imbalance. We're not having the proper hormones going through,
Yes,
right? So
exactly.
It's not always about the life. Like, there is circumstances that can obviously compound onto it, and then
of
you can have a situational depressive episode.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it comes down to a brain imbalance, a brain chemical thing, your negative self-talk.
Yes.
And that is what needs to be dealt with. Just saying, oh yeah, my life is good, I don't need to worry.
Yeah. I had that. So many people's like, why are you depressed? You've got a great life. You've got a wonderful life. Why are you depressed? There's no reason for it. And I would turn around and say, I know. Yeah. But I can't help how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's not that we don't know.
It's so difficult for close family to understand, because they know what you're like when you're in that happy cloud. They see what sort of person you are, and they don't understand why you can get trapped under a dark cloud and feel like you do. And even when you try and talk to members of the family, again, it's that mentality. What have you got to be depressed about?
Exactly. And it makes, I mean, when I heard people say it to me, it made me feel worse, because now I'm ashamed that I feel this way, because I shouldn't feel this way. So now I'm feeling worse with the shame and the guilt. So it's really a very, very unhelpful thing to say to people. If you want to remind them about all the good in their life, there are ways you can do that. You can say, hey, you've got some really awesome kids. Don't say you have awesome kids, so you shouldn't be depressed. Just be like, oh yeah, your kid is so creative. That's awesome that you as a parent are helping them be creative. Or oh, your husband is so sweet. That's so nice of him to think of you. You're very lucky to have him. Right.
Exactly.
No mention of
they need to point out the good things in your life. Point them out to that person who needs to know.
Exactly.
Who needs it needs to sink in to their brain, the goodness that is around them. Yes.
And don't mention how they should be feeling. At no point is it, your kids are creative, so you shouldn't feel depressed. Your husband's nice to you, so you shouldn't feel depressed. No. You're simply mentioning the good to remind them it's there, but you're not minimizing what they're feeling.
Exactly. The other going off of depression now, the other problem I have, and I didn't realize it at the time that there was a connection, was the insomnia. Now, I hadn't been sleeping for quite a long time, and I didn't realize that after so long, it actually affects your mental health.
Yes.
The first thing that started happening was I was having what I call spot blackouts. I would be either on my motorcycle, which is so dangerous,
Yeah.
or I'd be walking around with the trolley shopping. All of a sudden, everything would go black, and then a second later, it would come back.
Oh.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going to collapse. I was going to faint.
Oh
I didn't
my.
feel like I was going to faint, but
Yeah.
I was like, my eyes didn't close. My eyes were open, but I saw blackness
Oh
for a
wow.
second, and then I came back. So the first thing I did, I talked to my diabetic doctor, and she said, it's a sign of low sugar. I didn't
Okay.
believe that. But I took my tester with me everywhere I went. And
Yep.
when it happened again, I stopped, I tested myself, my sugar levels were normal.
So it wasn't
And
that.
it wasn't that. And it was getting more frequent, and I was too scared to go anywhere by myself because of it. I hardly ever I hardly leave the house anyway because of my condition. But when I did leave the house and I went on my bike, I always had my daughter on the back with me. So I always had someone with me. And the other thing that happened, which was rather fun at the time, and it's actually started happening again, which it's rather scary, but I understand why it's happened again because of the lack of sleep, is that I'd be having a conversation with my daughter, my husband, whatever,
Yeah.
and they say something, and then I would answer it with total nonsense that had nothing to do with what they were talking about. And this actually happened the other day. I was so tired and my eyes were closing, and I knew it was time to my body was done. That was 74 hours. My body was done. It was ready to go to sleep. And so me and my daughter, she was doing something on the computer for me, and I was trying to teach her what I need to do in, because I couldn't do anything. I was just so tired. And we'd start talking, and then I would start saying something so nonsense that had nothing to do with what we're supposed to be talking about. And she'd turn around and say, "What do you mean, blah, blah, blah?" And I'm like, "Oh, where did that come from?" And it happened like 4 times in a row that day when we were doing that thing. I was like, this is ridiculous. I try and stop myself from saying it, knowing that what I'm going to say has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Anyway, so that freaked me out, and that's happened again lately, and it's been maybe a year and a half since I've had any episodes like that.
Good. Yeah, that's scary.
I went to my neurologist who helps with my fibromyalgia, and he's the one who does all my medication and everything. And I just mentioned it. "Oh, by the way, this is happening to me." And he went, "Why didn't you say something earlier?" And I'm like, "Well, I thought it was just part of fibromyalgia, because there's like 100 symptoms of fibromyalgia,
Yeah.
so much with this illness. There isn't a magic pill. You take a pill for every one of these symptoms."
Oof.
So I mean,
That's a lot of pills.
It's a lot of pills. It's a lot of pills.
Oh my, yes it is.
15 a day about. Anyway, so I told him, and he went, "It's caused because of your insomnia. We have to get that insomnia working. We need to get it away. We need to get you to sleep. You need to have at least 6-7 hours sleep. You are not getting 6 or 7 hours sleep. You are lucky if you're getting 1 or 2 hours sleep." And he said it was caused by the insomnia. So he put me in for the EGG, I think it's called.
Okay.
I had this plastic cap on my head with the wires, and I'm laying down, and it's doing the brain, the lines are going up and down or whatever. I don't know anyway. And so, he comes over it a little bit, and he says, "Right, close your eyes and open them again." So I'll close my eyes and open them. And then a little while later, he'll ask me to do it again. So he could see the reading, to see where, when I closed my, I don't know why I was doing it, but anyway. And he comes up to me and he says, "Are you tired?" And I went, "No." And so that went on for about 45 minutes, and then we finished, and he went, the results are inconsistent. I want you to go home. I want you to sleep. I want you to come back in 2 days, and we're going to do another one. Well, of course, I'm an insomniac. I cannot sleep. You can't
Go
tell
home
me
and sleep.
you can't tell me to sleep if my body doesn't want to sleep. When I'm ready to sleep, I will sleep. I can't force myself to sleep. I can't say, right, it's 10 o'clock, everything turned off, go to bed, sleep. It doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
When my body is ready to sleep, I will sleep. It's like going from insomnia to narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy?
Exactly. I would be doing something on the computer, and then I'd fall asleep, and 2 minutes later I'd wake up again, and I'd carry on working, and I'd fall asleep, and I'd wake up again, and so that's what happens daily. That happens. So anyway, I went back and I did another test, and he says to me, he said, have you slept? I went, no. I said, I really did try. He said, what are you thinking about? I said, he says, you're wide awake, but your brain is sleeping.
Oh.
I said, I'm lying there thinking about my next book and what I'm writing about and the story. So my brain is working. But according to the results of the test, I was wide awake and my brain was sleeping.
That is weird.
So I'm like, how on earth can that be? How does that work?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've done the test. You now have to go back with the results to your neurologist. So go back to the neurologist with the exam results. And he's like, right, this is serious. We really need to get your insomnia sorted. So changed medication. I've been on that for maybe 2 years now. He said it should knock an elephant out. And I'm not sleeping. And now the mental difficulties, mental health has started again. Like I said, I didn't have any, after taking the tablets, even though I wasn't sleeping, the episode stopped, the blackout stopped, the
that's good.
The speaking gibberish stopped. But it was only yesterday that it came back with this gibberish. So I think it's time to take a little walk down to the doctor's sometime before Christmas and speak with him, maybe get my medication changed again, because when you're taking medication for so long, your body gets used to it and it stops working.
Yes, exactly.
So even though the medication from the beginning never knocked me out and didn't help with my insomnia, it did stop the mental episodes, we'll call them.
Yes.
But like I said, that happened yesterday, so I know things are not good again.
Yes.
Maybe I'll even start blacking out again, having these I call them spot blackouts. Only a few seconds, but it's absolutely terrifying.
Well, it's good that you can recognize when something needs to change with some, you got to go back to the doctor and talk again, because sometimes it's not as easy to notice that something is going on. So it's good that you're noticing and are able to take the steps then to try and solve that problem.
Trevor, there's this problem we've been trying to solve for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've medication after medication after medication. I'm wearing my glasses. You can't see my bags. It's nice makeup and glasses, and it hides all the bags underneath the eyes because I don't sleep. But I don't know when the last time I've had like 6 or 7 hours straight through.
Wow.
Because another thing that fibromyalgia does is that when you actually fall asleep, you don't dream, because when you get to REM 3, you wake up.
Oh, geez.
So you never ever get, even if I didn't have insomnia, if I didn't have insomnia, I still wouldn't be sleeping a full 6-7 hours, because I'll be waking up every time I got to REM3, which is a dream state.
That is awful. Oh, I love my sleep. I nap like almost every day. I love sleep. If I don't have like at minimum 7 hours of sleep, I cannot function. Like I feel so sick. So like I could not imagine being awake for days. Like I just
my husband comes in, and if I'm on my computer and my eyes are closed, he'll take the computer off my lap and he'll leave it, and I will wake up anyway. And even when I do fall asleep, like I said, it could happen anytime. I tell you what I did once. I do narrations for authors, right? Reading excerpts from their books.
Yeah.
And I was recording myself doing a reading, and I actually caught it on camera of my eyes closing, carry on reading, and then opening my eyes again. It was the most freakiest thing I'd ever seen, and I caught myself on camera doing it.
Oh my goodness. See, that's something that's kind of cool though, that like you were able to actually catch it on. That's kind of cool.
It was so creepy. I put it on Facebook. I said, people, you've got to see this.
Well, yeah, because it's something that is hard to believe it can happen. But proof, I mean,
it was narcolepsy, as I can't remember that damn name. It's so long. It was narcolepsy, but then it was like waking up, and it only happened for a few seconds. You saw me on the computer, looking in the camera, reading, eyes closing, reading, eyes open, not realizing what happened until I watched the video.
That's so crazy. Wow. All right. So we've talked about how therapy is fabulous and gotta go do that. But what other coping strategies do you use?
For what? For the depression?
To just help you kind of get through the.
My family get me through. My family get me through. My family is the reason I get out of bed in the morning. My job and my clients, they rely on me to do my job, and that gets me working, and that gets me riled up, ready to start the day. 10 in the morning, 10 at night. I go right the way through working. Weekends I don't work. Weekends is for me, but I still don't relax because I'm working on my own books, I'm editing, I'm promoting my own books. So it's non-stop, 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Non-stop for me. And keeping myself busy like that stops me from thinking about other things.
Okay. So that's good, because sometimes if you keep yourself busy, it can sometimes lead to bad. But if it works for you, then awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to. I'm so busy working and thinking about things I have to do next and where I have to go and what I have to do, that I don't have to think about you haven't slept, oh, you're tired, oh, you've got pains, you can't go for a walk without your stick, your daughter looks after you like a nurse, all of the negative things that are happening. I don't have to think about that because my brain is full of what I need to do for my clients.
That's good then. That's good. As long as it is not being too overwhelming, that's perfect.
I mean, I really should. I'm a one-man show, and if you knew what I do every day, and as well as the podcast, as well as the services and being a VA and I can't say no to people. So sometimes I stretch myself too thin.
I gotta watch that.
That can get stressful when you feel like you're not giving your all to the client because you've got so many other things to do for other people. That can lead to a lot of stress. So I'm seriously thinking about hiring someone so it takes some of the workload off, and then I don't have to say no to anyone. I love what I do. I love the podcast. I love meeting people and talking with them. The interaction, because I don't leave my house.
Yes.
Because I no longer have friends. They all left me when I became ill.
Oh, jerks.
Yeah. Because I didn't socialize. The only socializing I've done over the last 10 years is join a choir because I sing.
Oh,
And
nice.
we raise money for charity for children in need.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that, of course, with COVID, 2 years we hadn't done it. Yes. And we just started up 2 weeks ago, twice a week, getting ready with the Christmas carols to go down to the villages and to the Christmas bazaar and do our little thing and try and raise some money. So that's my socializing. That's all I do, because like I said, all my friends left me. And so everything that I do online, all of these connections that I have online, I've never met these people before. Yeah. And they have been there for me 100%.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're always there for me. Yeah. They know the situation. I can talk to them. They talk to me. We bash each other's ears, when we've got problems. I've never met them, and they are amazing. I've been, when I lost my mum and then I lost my dad, and it was really, really hard. And I had this card come, and it was messages from everyone that I knew in this writing group, with condolences and their messages, and someone wrote it all down and sent it to my address in a sympathy card, and I cried. I mean, that was so beautiful. I've still got it, with the memorial that I made for my father, and it was beautiful, and it was such a nice thing. And that's it. The writing community that I'm in, we are like glue. We always help each other when it comes to books and marketing and ideas.
That's awesome.
But we're always there for the other side. The people don't know what's going on behind someone's door.
No, exactly. Yeah. Which
no one sees the smile, no one sees the tears, and you can be anyone you want to be and pretend that life is amazing online.
Oh yeah, it's
unless you're being honest, which I do, and everyone knows. My close virtual friends know the situation. Then I can come on camera, and I can chat with them, and we can see each other, and we know what's going on. And when you think, we're talking in a chat room with 5 or 6 people from a group, and they mentioned that they've started doing chemo, and you're like, whoa, because you had no idea.
Yes.
Or they're suffering, having a really, really bad time with depression, because of something, and you wouldn't expect that from them, because you know them as that other person, the other side. So it's so surprising when you learn how people really are coping or not coping, when they're honest. But when you are honest, you have those people, you have that support online. Yeah, it's amazing. That really helps.
I'm so glad that you found a new group of people, since the other ones, we don't like them.
What got me, Randy, is that I was in this group, and we used to go out and we'd have wine and cheese once a week, and then we'd go and have a coffee on Saturdays. A massive group of us, English girls in the village, because this is a Greek village. And when someone was ill, we'd raise money and we'd help them. When one of our group actually died from cancer, we all put money together for a memorial for her, a little plaque and everything. And then when I got ill, and I was talking and being open about it on Facebook and telling people what fibromyalgia is and the symptoms and the stuff that I'm going through, I maybe had a couple of visits and then they stopped because I couldn't keep up with them anymore. I couldn't go out with them anymore.
That's so unfortunate.
And they didn't want to know. They didn't want to help. Maybe they were scared.
Yep.
Maybe it freaked them out, the illness. But what upset me the most is that every time someone needed something, I was always there as part of giving. And then when I needed them, they disappeared.
Aww. Sorry to hear that. So for those who are listening, if you consider yourself to actually be a friend, then you don't leave when the hard times come.
You know who your friends are when you really need them. It's as simple as that. So my virtual friends are absolutely awesome. They've been there for me. They've helped me through. They've supported me through my career with my books. I was representing Greece in the World Championship karaoke finals. Yeah. So I had a lot of support from them for that. So and then you've got the only social connection that I do now is with the choir.
Yeah.
But that was 2 years of not having the choir. And now we've got together and this is nice. This is, you have a chat with someone and, are asking how you doing, and you don't go through everything, of course. You say, yeah, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, usually.
It's just nice to socialize again at last.
Yeah.
And that's only going to be over Christmas, and then that will finish again.
Yeah.
And we won't do anything again. And then I will be stuck indoors. But because I can get out, that's when I can get dressed up. That's when I can do my hair. That's when I can put my makeup on and wear my nice clothes, because I don't have the opportunity to do that because I don't go anywhere.
It's so true. I know. I mean, doing the podcast and writing and stuff, I don't go out too much. And when I do go out, I usually go to the gym because I coach. And so I'm still not dressed up. So, I mean, this dressing up for my show, that's my dressing up.
Yeah, I totally understand. I'm the same. But the thing about the podcast, and I'm sure you know exactly the same, is it's a way to socialize.
Yeah.
It means that I don't leave the house. This is my socialize, and I'm meeting new people, and we're having a chat, and we're learning about each other and learning about their journey as an author or an artist, an illustrator, an actor. I've had some big people on my show. And and it's just wonderful to hear all these stories and to connect with people and to make these connections and to just meet somebody and talk with them. COVID, when COVID started and people were in lockdown and nobody knew what to do with themselves, I'd been using digital medium for the last 5 years. I've been using Zoom for the last 5 years. So
you were prepared. You were ready.
Exactly. I was teaching now all of these authors that couldn't go and do their book cons, that couldn't go and do their book signings, and couldn't sell outside. They had no idea how to use the internet to sell their books. And so I had a lot of work over the last 2 years training people on how to use social media, how to use Zoom, how to get onto panels, how to get onto podcasts, and just to make sure that everybody was connected, which was so important, to have that social connection to somebody, whether it was talking to someone, member of the family on camera, or it was meeting someone new and being interviewed for a podcast. People needed that during that time.
Yeah.
and they didn't know that this door was open.
Yes.
And now when things go back and the cons are opening and they're going back and sending all their books face to face, they need to remember that this door will always be open.
Yes.
The people, the world is their oyster. They can connect to anyone around the world and find new readers for their books. They just need to put themselves out there.
Exactly. Like, I would never have met you before because you're so far away from me.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is a great way to get into, tell us about your books and where to get them.
Wow. I started my first book in Times of Violence, young adult edition, with a short story, 18 pages. And when I came to Greece, I was so bored. I'm in a little village full of donkeys and old people. I didn't know anyone. And I was just like, right, I can sing and I can write. Now, singing isn't going to help me because I don't speak any Greek. And they're not going to want an English singer in the village. So let's do something with my writing. Let's start taking my writing seriously. So I got a hold of this 18-page short story, and I had a typewriter at the time. This is how far back it was. My God, electric typewriter. So I'm typing away, and this one page suddenly became 20 pages.
Wow.
And then I was like, what happened? What's going on? Page 2, another 20, 30 pages. And it was like magic. It just flew. Everything that I wanted to write, I didn't even have to think about it. My fingers were just typing away anything that was in my head. And this 18-page story ended up being my first novel in Times of Violence, which is like The Outsiders on Motorbikes.
Cool. And
then I did a collection to follow on with that, which was Huntress, Lawless Justice, and Road Rage. And they're in a series called Outlaw, but they're not a series. They're just about people, young people that are outlaws because they don't want to obey the law. They are their own person. They don't fit in normal society. Their family are their brothers. They will die for their brother.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you think of Hell's Angels, that's the kind of thing we're talking about, outlaw motorcycle clubs. So that was the Outlaw series of 4 books there. I did lots of flash fiction because I wanted to have like a really good CV for when I contacted agents and publishers. I wanted them to see all my work. So I was putting these short stories, which are called flash fiction or 1-minute fiction. And they were being published in online magazines, in newspapers, magazines, and stuff, anthologies and what have you. And then later on, I put them together into 2 collections. One's called Heads and Tails, which is flash
I like
fiction
that cover.
Stories. Thank you. Yeah, it's like light and dark. You've got the soft feather, and then you've got the barbed wire going around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Heads and Tails. So Heads and Tails is rather dark, and I didn't realize it was dark until someone actually pointed out to me how dark the stories were. But there's short fiction and there is a flash fiction in there, and they're all different genres. So you've got sci-fi, you've got comedy, you've got romance, you've got historical romance, you've got horror. There's a bit of everything in there. And then with Undressed, this was again a collection of flash fiction, but it had poetry, prose, memories, excerpts of books that hadn't been published and excerpts of books that had been published. And also what we call prompts, where you start an idea for a story. It doesn't go anywhere, but it's really good when it starts. And so there are prompts in there as well. So the thing about the reason I called it Undressed was because the stories are raw, emotional, and naked. It gives my fans more of an insight into my warped mind. But
That's hilarious.
Because it was called Undressed, Amazon decided to put it down as an erotica.
Oh, geez.
Stories and erotica poems. So, of course, erotica is a bad word for Amazon, and so it sort of went right down the bottom of the list until I contacted him. I said, please have a look at my book. There is nothing naked. There is no erotica in my book. It is poetry. There's horror, there's romance, there's mystery, there's fantasy, there's sci-fi. I said, you will not find anything to do with sex, BDSM, LGBTQ, whatever, anything, nothing like that in this book. So please don't put it listed as erotica poetry. Amazon. Later on, because I was told that they were rather dark, I figured out that some of them were dark. So I put them into a little book. It's the pocket book is the paperback. You can actually fit it in your pocket.
Oh, that's cool. That's the one that I have, right?
That's the one that you've got, and you still haven't read it. All of the flash fiction that are horror, based on horror. So, I mean, one page is like one story. It's like one page, one story. So quick. It's like, they're not ones that will give you nightmares, but they're ones that will make you think. Okay. After you've read this. Okay, so then I published myself Illusional Reality, which is a young adult fantasy paranormal romance. It did so well that I was offered a contract from a publisher. Oh, and then book 2 came out, which is a duology. Okay. I didn't want to do a trilogy, but it's a duology. And if you look at, I don't know if people are seeing the camera or not on this, if it's just a audio or not.
We do YouTube and we do podcasts. So
wonderful.
It depends.
So if you can see half of her here, she's Becky.
Yeah.
Just a normal office marketing executive. And then the other half, there we go, is Saya. When she's transported from England, in Earth, UK, and taken to Ticinia, where she finds out she has powers, that she is the actual ruler of the land, and she's been brought back a prophecy telling her that she's going to save all her people from a warlord. And if you can imagine that happening to you, you'd be like, excuse me, I don't know you, take me back home, I have nothing to do with you, this isn't my problem. And so she's really, really stubborn until she finally accepts who she is, and she takes up what she's supposed to do. And the second one, again, is a duology in a duology. She is fire.
Yeah.
And then she is the other side. There is an evil spirit inside her that starts waking up in book 1, and in book 2 you finally find out who she really is. And does she control this other will inside her? So it's a duology, and it was inspired by, guess who? Tolkien, of course. After I saw the first film, Lord of the Rings, it was a 1-hour journey to get home, and Illusional Reality was written in my head.
Wow.
The start, the middle, the plot, the characters, the names, everything. While I was in that car journey home, Illusional Reality was written in my head. Went and watched The Two Towers. The Quest was written in my head after The Two Towers. But I didn't make a trilogy. I kept it as a duology. So there is no, I mean, I could if I wanted to make a third book, but I wrap it up rather nicely on the end of The Quest. So that was took by a publisher. Then We have Stone Cold, which is very biographical, apart from the gruesome murders and the supernatural part. It has to do with how I was bullied at school, physically and mentally, through every school that I went to. It was like I had a target on my back. So this is very biographical, Stone Cold. She gets her own back on the bullies very gruesomely. I got a lot of closure writing this book, Randy, I'll tell you.
Good.
So Stone Cold you can buy as a really cute little paperback book, pocket book. You can fit in your pocket and your handbag. And ebook, of course, it's on ebook as well. Then you have, I co-wrote Toxic with another author, but what happened was I wanted mine to be a bit more spicier and she wanted to keep hers clean. So what we did was 2 of the same book, but one was naughty and one was nice. So it gives the reader the opportunity to decide which kind of book they want, naughty or nice.
Choices are great.
Choices are great. And this apparently had never been done before. No one's ever heard of something like this.
No,
First of all, we're talking dystopian sci-fi erotica, which is a genre you would never ever think would be together.
No, exactly.
We created such a world we couldn't leave it as one book. So then we zoomed again, had a brainstorming session. After 2 hours, we had book 2 done.
Wow.
And book 3, we've decided to make it a trilogy, and we know where we're going with book 3. And we have a publisher waiting for all 6 books.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
That is so good. And my last one, which came out this month, I cannot show you because it's coming through the post right now.
Okay. We'll have to wait
the
patiently.
actual book is coming through the post right now, but I will show you the cover. It's called Broken Chains. Again, it's another genre that I've never written in. As you can see, I write in everything. This is a dark mafia romance. It is very graphic. It's very explicit. And people are warned about that before buying the book.
Good.
So they know what they're going to get.
Yes.
I have been blown away by the reviews that have come in so quickly, all 4 5 stars.
Oh, good.
They have been absolutely amazing, the reviews. I knew when I was writing it there was something special about this book. It was something to do with I don't know if it was the violence or whatever, but it was trying to put 2 sides of what mafia life was like as a woman being tortured to get information from.
Ooh.
And then being treated like a queen. So you get 2 sides. You see then the danger and how dangerous the mafia is, but then you see the other side of the dons, of how gentle and nice they can be. There are loads of twists in the book, but it is really, really heavy with explicitness and violence.
Yes.
I really put my character through hell and back in this book. But she does get a happy ending in the end. But it involves MI5, the Greek mafia, the Italian mafia, and the Russian mafia.
Wow. All right. Just roll up in there, everybody, eh?
Yeah, everyone got in. And the trouble is, she's wanted by all of them. And she goes from, let's see if I can see that. There we go. She goes from
cool.
being an MI5 agent to becoming a mafia princess.
Well, that is excellent. And so now, where can people follow you?
I'm everywhere. I am everywhere. I don't use a pen name, even for my erotica stuff. I am Karina Kantas. You can Google me. 74,000 pages will come up. I've been on this journey for 27 years, so there is so much out there with me. I'm on nearly every single platform. I'm on MeWe, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on
Love
I'm
TikTok.
on LinkedIn. I bet you do. I can see you as a TikToker. I'm on Facebook, of course. I'm on there 24/7 on Facebook. And then you can find my books wide everywhere. So if you want to buy from Barnes and Noble, for Kobo, if you want to get the paperback from Amazon, you can find me anywhere to get my books. And I hope you do go out and get Broken Chains, because it is my bestseller now. It's only been out this month and it's beaten all of my books so far, and everyone's loved it. And if you like that kind of story, if you like the thrilling and the twists and the nail biting and the oh my god, it's so triggering, then you will love this book.
Perfect. We're going to share your links down in the description below so people can follow you, can pick up your books. And just thank you so much for being on the show.
It's been such a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Karina. I can really tell that you are so passionate about your work, and that's fabulous. Like, we need to do what we love, which is why I do this show. So hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep doing this show and bringing you awesome guests. If you want to support, we do have a merch store. 10% of the proceeds goes back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.